Hello everybody, welcome to a little bit of late night broadcasting. What time is it here? 11:22. I just got back from a day of sim driving with my co-driver from Suzuka 2018, Nick Foster, friend of mine. And I've restarted my account. I'm now David_Peril. And I wanted to, start recovering my driver rankings, sportsmanship rankings, etc. So I figured I'd do a little bit of a 1 hour of driving now before bed. Usually I go to bed before midnight, but I'm home alone, so I have freedom. Anyway, we're in the Ferrari at Dragon Trail Gardens. Today I was on iRacing at Bathurst, because Nick will be doing the Bathurst 12-hour, lucky bastard. And it was just interesting to feel, well, first of all, what was really cool was we played VR. It was my first time, sorry about that, my first time playing VR in iRacing, and it was just incredible how immersive it is when you have the 3D goggles on. It's just, we're using Oculus Rift. He doesn't have the strongest PC though, so at some point we lost the connection. But anyway, it was still so awesome to play in VR and get that sort of depth of field around Bathurst, and it just made the track so much more intimidating. Initially we were both a little bit off the pace, as it just took a minute to adjust to the environment. I mean, once the VR broke, we were actually a little bit quicker just with the 2D screen. It's probably because what we're both more used to, even though he's played VR quite a bit, he's also more used to just a flat screen. We also had some problems with the braking. There seemed to be a problem with the calibration of the Fanatec pedals that we were using. But once we got that sorted, we were able to do 203s. Okay, he did 203.9, I did a 204.1, which upset me. But it was still super fun. And it is definitely a much more different feeling to Gran Turismo, much less forgiving. But also in some ways, I was a bit disappointed with the physics when the car got sideways. There just seems to be not unrealistic, but an exaggerated weighting through the steering when there's body roll, and it becomes very, very difficult to control snap oversteer, especially at a track like Bathurst. Once you're in the snap oversteer and you're losing control, it's much more realistic the way the car moves. It feels heavier in its motions. But there was just something there that we both don't necessarily like. But iRacing probably is the most realistic, though it's still not my favorite. And all that being said, I'm looking forward to actually getting my own PC, possibly also some Oculus goggles, and playing Assetto Corsa. He had the new Assetto Corsa Competizione, but his PC was dying on us, so couldn't really play it. So yeah, here we are. 4 minutes to go before the race starts. Not entirely happy with this livery, and I still need to, on this new PlayStation account, I haven't reassigned all the buttons on my Thrustmaster, so I may mispress certain things. I did some racing this morning before I went to Nick's house, and I kept turning on the indicators when I tried to look behind me. So R2, which I just pressed now, turns on the right indicator when it's default, but I prefer that button to be my look behind button. And I also set the L2 button usually to be the ghost, but at the moment that's up. So little tweaks that I just still need to do with this new account. Things which is just a little bit of a pain to get done. This morning's video, which was a track guide of this track, was done with miles per hour instead of kilometers per hour. But anyway, all that will be sorted out soon enough. I'm just looking forward to building up the DR on this one back to an A plus, so we can race against the big boys. At the moment, I'm at level E, which is, it's not the best situation we've got going right now, but it is what it is. So I'm just curious if you guys can actually hear me clear enough. If you can, just drop a comment. I'm going to check the comments in 2 minutes, and we'll still have some time. We'll have about 1.5 minutes to make adjustments to the sound before the race starts. I'm not entirely sure if the engine noise is drowning out my microphone. Anyway, I hope we have some decent opposition at this time of night. Thanks to those of you late nighters who are tuning in. We're only going to be on for about an hour, which I think is 4 races, 3 or 4 races, and then it's kind of way past my bedtime. Tomorrow I may actually take a break from sim racing, because I've been putting in the hours since I got back from holiday in Germany, and maybe tomorrow, okay, well, I've got a normal day job, so I'm going to do that, but I think I'm going to do more exercise instead of more simulator tomorrow. Usually I do about an hour exercise and 2 hours sim. Sometimes a little bit more sim in the evening if I have the time. It's just... but I just want to break from simulator. Actually, no, you know what, tomorrow I'm actually testing with GT Alex. We're both doing the international something Gran Turismo championship that he organizes. I'm going to be his teammate for the 3rd or 4th round. It takes place 24th and 25th of Jan. So I'll be live streaming that. Obviously, it's a 3-hour. I haven't driven in a 3-hour race before. So looking forward to that. And just checking my phone while I drive, not advised. So I think that testing is tomorrow evening. I'm not going to be broadcasting the testing because I don't want anyone to see what our setups are and stuff. Not setups, but you know, how we get on with lap time and strategy, which we'll just coordinate together. And then next week is the actual racing itself. So that will be fun. Never done something like that before. There's actually a driver change involved. Don't know how that works out. Lots of A's in this group. As is tradition, I probably won't be talking while I'm streaming, just because I can't do both at the same time. Okay, so quickly go to my videos and check out the comments. Well, hang on, there are no comments yet. Oh no, wow, there are comments. Okay, hey everybody, so I'm just going to start at the top. First of all, good evening everybody. Welcome, late night surprise. Motorrev, what's happening? Tried the Ferrari RDD? It's pretty handy. Yeah, Motorrev, it's got its advantages. It's got good top speed and mid-range. So even though it's not nearly as fast as the 4C Grade 4, you look at what TX3 Adam did. He did a 36.3. You can still race a lot of the guys because you can catch them on the straights, and that makes for good handling. Paul, what's happening? Eye Twister, good evening. Visual Hypersot, can't watch now, but good luck, no worries mate. Love the daily race you're doing. Yeah, this daily race is a lot of fun. This track to me is one of the best tracks. I always say that, but Gran Turismo does have the best fantasy tracks. Glad that you guys can hear me. I love that Gran Turismo puts the time in to even pay attention to different cambers, and you know, they consider like the build quality of a racetrack. The curbing here is very different to other tracks. It catches you out. It's not so easy. You can't take it for granted. Obviously the chicane at the beginning of the lap is a massive challenge. But yeah, I wish Gran Turismo could release all their fantasy tracks in Gran Turismo Sport. You know, I'd love it if we had Grand Valley, Apricot Hill, Deep Forest, Trial Mountain. You know, where are those ones? There was a couple of, they weren't fantasy tracks, but they took street circuits, or they turned streets into circuits. There's a particular very tight one around Italy from Gran Turismo 4, I think, which was just so cool. Very narrow, very difficult to overtake. I watched a throwback video of Gran Turismo. A Lancer Evo was driving around there, and I can't remember the name now. Damn it, man. But that track, there used to be, I think in 2000 and I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 5. There was a championship in South Africa where the winner, first you had regional qualifiers. It was when Gran Turismo 4 got released in South Africa. You first had regional qualifiers, and the regional qualifiers involved us driving at doing a best lap at one of the shopping centers at this particular racetrack, and I managed to win that. My brother came second, and then you'd go to the national finals, which were held in Johannesburg on pre-recorded television on Supersport. It was called, I think it was Supersport, and the winner got a whole bunch of gear and new PlayStation, new steering wheel stuff. Anyway, I bottled that one and finished 4th. I made it to the semi-finals, got into the lead at Seattle Raceway, and then outbraked myself on the last lap, like an idiot. So, wasn't happy with that one. Oh, David, now you're going to go wide. Oh, somehow just made it. This guy's right behind me while I keep talking nonsense. But that was my first experience at the South African Championship of sim racing, sort of in front of an audience, and I didn't realize how much nerves played a part in sim racing. I mean, you get nerves in real racing, you get the same amount of nerves, but it's dulled, or it's blunted rather, by the physical forces on your body inside a racing car or a kart, so that sort of neutralizes the nerves of it. In sim racing and live races, you don't have anywhere to hide when you're nervous, so your heart rate can get the better of you. If you've never experienced it before, you will not know what I'm talking about. But it is definitely, for me, much more tense and more difficult to control than I can control inside a normal racing car. What happened to everybody? They must have been racing each other. And it's actually interesting because, like today when I was with Nick Foster, he tends to drive a bit smoother than me, but we both sort of have our strong points. At the end of the day, my theoretical best lap was about 3/10 quicker than his, but he was able to string that lap together more consistently compared to me. So that was really interesting. I always love doing sim sessions with other drivers, like one-on-one, because I learn certain things that they're doing which I'm not doing, and I see if I can integrate that into my driving. Nick and I brake very differently. For example, he brakes quite aggressively and late, comes off the pedal, he still trail brakes a little bit, but he releases the pedal quicker than me and the car rotates quicker for him, whereas I brake a bit softer, a little bit sooner, and try and carry speed through the corner and trail brake for longer. And it depended on the corner we were at in Bathurst. Sometimes I was quicker than him, and sometimes he was quicker than me. So my technique was more sort of on the edge today, which resulted in me making a little bit more mistakes when we got to the upper limits. But still super interesting to watch and then see if I could replicate some of the things that he was doing, which is not something it's not that easy, because you're adjusting a driving style to find, you know, 1 or 2 tenths, and you know, you can't just do it with one try. It takes many tries, you know. Where's everybody? Subaru's sticking around, and I have made some mistakes at this daily race recently. I can say for sure that some of the things I do in Gran Turismo, they cross over to the real world, but they do not cross over to iRacing. So that was interesting. I had to unplug some of the habits that I've picked up in Gran Turismo, like how I use curbs, how I turn into a corner, and how I deal with oversteer. It's much easier to handle oversteer in Gran Turismo, and to be honest with you, up to a certain point in real life it's also easier to handle. iRacing, the kick through the steering wheel just did not feel natural to me. But I think that was just a calibration issue, because it took us a long time to calibrate the brake pedal as well. Nick had a bunch of drivers, new updates and stuff that he installed, and we think that maybe those reset his calibration settings, so we had to spend an unnecessary amount of time just sorting out the brakes. We didn't actually touch the setup at all. There were some things I appreciated in the game, like track conditions, track temperature, and the effect it had on acceleration, or air temperature rather. All those things were pretty cool to factor in, but I don't know how much of an effect or how realistic it actually is. And it also meant that sometimes I would spend about 30 minutes in the car trying to beat a lap time, and then when he got in the car it was either hotter in the day or cooler in the day, and that would determine how close he got. And for a moment we forgot about the effect of the afternoon and evening settings, and we were so confused why at one point we were like 3 seconds off the pace, making every excuse under the sun, excuse the pun, and it turned out it was because it was the middle of the day, and the air temperature was like 30 degrees or something. But the 3D experience the VR experience rather, that I experienced today was just so epic. Seriously enjoyed that. This lap time's not so bad actually, 37.6. It's probably one of my better lap times in the race. Misses that apex, so once he stops talking tonight, he goes slower. Someone explain that, please. That was slow. So the key thing with that chicane is you want to be over slowing the car into the right-hander or before the right-hander, so that you can get on the power before the apex of the right-hander and not lift until you're braking for the hairpin that I just went through. That took me a while to understand, but that breakthrough, that really was a breakthrough, helped me at Monza in the GT Open, because I applied it in Roger and in Ascari, and I found bucket loads of time. So on a fantasy track in Gran Turismo, I was able to unlock some insight into something that I could apply in real life. So fine, this game is perhaps not as realistic as iRacing, whatever. But there's still things that you can learn from this thing, and I keep saying it, that people underestimate. And that was a prime example, you know. So I took what I learned from there and applied it to the real life situation, and boom, we technically didn't win the race, but we crossed the line first. It was just a penalty that cost us the victory. Sipping some water. Ethan Dean, what's happening, brother? Yeah, Chita di Aria, that's the one. That is the one. Oh God, what a game. Mark Turner, thanks for tuning in. Can you try the Evo Grade 4? Mate, I can't, because I don't have the money to buy the cars yet. So, you know, that is a problem. I'm sitting on 5 wins. In my GTP underscore David Peril, I have 231 wins. We just went up a driver rating. We now driver rating D or Ning. So at the moment, guys, we're stuck on the Ferrari. Going around here, unfortunately, stuck around the Ferrari because we don't have the budget to buy any other cars yet. When you get a PC, look into PS2 emulation. I have a GT4 running at 1080p with my regular wheel. That's awesome. I'll definitely look into that. Is there a possibility that you showcase your racing setup? Yeah, definitely. Did I post a photo? Yeah, if you go to my community page on YouTube, you'll see a photo in there. I posted it somewhere there, so definitely check that out. Is that Kilbasa? Yeah, so if you go to the community tab on my YouTube page, just go through the posts there and you'll see I have a reasonably modest setup. I'm going to move it around actually. I want to turn it around, move it the other way. I have a printer that I bought and I have nowhere to put the printer. So I've run out of surface space. I also have a bunch of trophies on the floor because I ran out of surface space. There's a plugin which you can get, takes input. It's absolutely insane that you can emulate Gran Turismo 4 on a PC. Definitely going to check that out, Ethan. Thanks so much. Paul Christophers, purchased ACC the other day. Very good, very different to GT. Yeah, it's completely different. It's funny, maybe even you, Paul, or maybe not. Someone else said that they thought that Assetto Corsa was more focused on graphics than realism compared to iRacing, and that's just not true. They have very good graphics guys at ACC, and they do put a lot of attention into it, but all those guys talk about is physics. That's all they want to talk about. Maximum respect to them for that. I think I haven't stopped talking since I started the stream. Okay, so braking for the chicane, get it in early, small squirt, overslow the car from the first. Whoa, that was too much. Okay, so I mean the line wasn't ideal, but the thinking was there. I need to reprogram these damn buttons. That's the screen I want. This section here is also really difficult to get right if you haven't practiced it 10 million times like I have. Just to get the timing right of how the car transitions, the weight transfer, when to get on the power, all those things. Yeah, this corner here I forgot to mention in the track guide, it's downhill. So you're turning downhill, fighting understeer. Very rarely do you have oversteer there. You'll only have oversteer going in if you're too aggressive with the braking and turning. And in this uphill corner you want a little bit of oversteer. You want that rotation, and that's where this car seems to be really good compared to the Alpha and TT. TT I think is actually a terrible choice for this track. Just so you guys know, I'm almost ready to announce my 2019 racing plans. That's how you do it. Almost ready as in 2 weeks time. Looks like I'm gonna be missing February testing though, because I'll be in South Africa. That was pretty nice rotation. And in South Africa, I'm gonna be applying for my visa, getting my racing license for 2019. Spending money on accommodation. Place isn't cheap, I can tell you that. It's a tourist destination. And training in the sun. I haven't seen the sun in a long time, which is not something I'm used to be honest. Cape Town is mostly sunny with a sprinkling of winter. England is mostly winter with a sprinkling of sun. That was not good. Ferrari Grade 4 car is so neutral. I'm very tempted to sign a quote-unquote Ferrari contract for the FIA races. But the Grade 3 car is so bad and so difficult to drive that I would just be taking a huge risk by relying entirely on the 20 seconds out on the Grade 4 races to try and win the championship. You know what I never knew? I never knew that the FIA championships only counted 3 rounds. Well, at least season 4 only counted 3. If that was the case, if I knew that rather, I would have taken the last 3 rounds a lot more seriously. I missed a big chunk of the championship when I was in Germany for a few weeks, so I thought I was out of the championship, and when I got back I was kind of messing around. Yeah, we did reasonably well, finishing I think in the top 5 and all the ones I did when I got back, but I wasn't very focused on it, and I feel like I missed an opportunity there to finish in the top 20. So, and that was just because I didn't know the rules, which, you know, is a lesson. I think the daily races should be reset every Sunday and Wednesday. What do you guys think? I think week-long events at the same track with the same car is quite boring. Maybe what they could do is keep the track, but halfway through, instead of having Grade 4s, they can go to N300 or Grade 2 or whatever. I wonder if using second gear for the right-hander is better. I don't think so. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Preparing to match. I hate it when I'm on a super fast lap, like a top 10er, and then it goes preparing to match, and then it cuts me off just before the line. Or you think to yourself, oh, it's preparing to match, I'm not going to try on this lap, and you go quicker, and the thing is not switching over, and you're like, oh god, I'm going blue, I'm going green, maybe I can sneak in a good result here. Poof, cuts you out. Love that. I'm racing with the D's now. What happened to the A's? Did everyone go to bed or something? Hey, good evening, Rapid Gator. If anyone is curious as to what setup I'm actually using at the moment, just check out my website davidperrell.net/sim. I list it there. Darren, yeah, I was wondering, I was thinking maybe the Americans are going to be awake for this one. Rappergate 38.2 in the Megane. Yeah, good luck with that thing, man. Understeer city with the Megane. Alpha 4C, Ferrari, or it seems some people are enjoying the TT. NJF, it's your last race that counts. That's exactly how it should be. So it should be like, cool, you got a good result, you can try again, but if you fail, then you don't, you lose the points from your best results. Only your most recent result counts. I think that is absolutely right. So it's on you to get it right, and it keeps up the pressure. Paul, I definitely don't recommend staying awake for this, buddy. You can rewatch this later, mate. Maybe while you're working tomorrow. My brother and I call it the classic side watch. So watching something on the side while you're actually working, that kept us alive during the long hours of our work days. Manu, yes, I hear you, but yeah, that's true. Not everyone races every day like us streamers. That's true. NJF, good man. Sidewatch king. Propagator, yes. So I mean, maybe you didn't win and you finished second or third and you felt, I could have easily won that thing. Am I gonna risk it? Then maybe. In my case, like at Suzuka on Saturday, I think I got 2 fifths there anyway. No, I got a fourth, and then I got a fifth, and then I don't know, bad results. And I thought I could have finished on the podium because we started from 10th in the first race, and it was without any practice. And so I went and restarted the race, thinking that I could get an easy podium. And it turned out that 10th to 4th was my best result. So that would have cost me in the end. It's very important when you get to that hairpin to just roll off the brakes slightly as you get to the apex. Otherwise you will probably run wide. Or at least in the Ferrari. Judging that corner is so difficult for me. So it's just a reminder to those of you who haven't watched the lap guide yet. I've changed usernames. My new username is now with a South African flag, and it's David underscore Perrell. How the hell did I keep that on the track? David underscore Perrell. That is my new username. Send your friend requests. Hit me up. I'll accept you guys, and then at least one day I'll at last create an open lobby which we can all race in together. I'd actually love to do some oval racing because I think that's the most fun. Oval racing with very light penalty system, just to stop the hagglers from destroying our fun. Just 1 second. And then the other kind of racing which I really enjoy is with slow-ish cars around tight racetracks. So maybe around the Kyoto Yamigawa racetrack in, say, Golf GTI. You cannot believe how fun those races are. With sports mediums, oh my god. I would absolutely love to race you guys in that combination. And I've also been testing a combination for a potential private race, private lobby. I mean, with invite only. where you have to do two pit stops, 18 lap race, 2 pit stops with at least 1 stop for one of those stops requires refueling. I'm really hoping that I can, it will be with the grade 3 car. I love the grade 3 racing. 7 seconds, my god. And I hope to announce that at some point. So it'll be an invite thing. One of the delays is I'm debating if I can include a prize in there, you know, some prize money. Not prize money, but like a ticket, a grid ticket maybe, or something like that. Or maybe Thrustmaster wants to get involved. And the winner gets all the prizes. I like the winner take all approach. That was kind of, I learned that approach from my karting days. The South African final was basically winners take all. The winner got to go to the World Finals, and everyone else got to try again for the next year. And then I like at the World Finals, yes, you have your qualifying heats, but whoever crosses the line first in the final is the champion, the world champion. So I've always liked that kind of thinking, and I want to do a Gran Turismo race like that, where the same thing happens. I try and organize a prize. Obviously shipping is not paid by me, and yeah, the winner gets to keep it, and second place gets to try again the next time. So maybe we could have like a 3-part series to that or something, championship rather. Each round there's a winner. So yeah, oval racing, slow cars, and then this grade 3 combination at a fantasy racetrack. Keep things exciting, you know. Long race. Maintenance will begin in 4 hours. Please be sure to save your game. Whoa. That was slow. Oh yeah, tomorrow is all the new cars. Okay, so maybe I'll do a video in the morning. Is anyone interested in what cars they're releasing tomorrow? Maybe I can go on my other account to buy the car and do a video. I'm still gonna keep racing online on this account though. But every time I win a race like this, if I keep it clean, I get the clean race bonus. Whoa. I wonder how TX3 Adam managed to get a 36.3. Not bad consistency. I want to do a video on consistency, but I would like to edit it. But it's all based on reference points. That's how you get consistent. And you just stick to your reference points and develop muscle memory around those reference points. That's how you get to lap within 0.2 of a second. You basically installed it into your subconscious. That frees your mind up to do other things like strategy and all that stuff. pretty decent lap if I manage to keep it all on the track. That double left was no good. I lost about 2.5 tenths there. 37.4. Not bad. Cypher, you can change your username, I think, in February, but you can't change your country, and that's what I want. Darian, I was tired of having the UK flag. I mean, look, I love England and stuff, but I'm from South Africa, born and bred, 100%. I was using the UK flag in 2007 or 8 to try and qualify for the GT Academy. And even though I technically did qualify, they knew us from South Africa, and I never got the invite to the next rounds, which is really, really, really frustrating at the time, and sad. Nice. None of this show flake BS every time. Everyone is a winner. Cypher, thanks so much for adding me, bro. Staying up for an AC race at 2 AM. Oh god, good luck with that. $37.4. Next best lap 41.2. Come on, golly. What other comments we got here? T1 is really crucial. Yeah, that turn can make or break a lap. So Ethan, it's really easy to be consistent quite quickly. It just takes a little bit of sort of homework, I suppose. And let's quickly claim these bonuses while we wait for the countdown clock. What's happening here? Milestone achieved. Reward unlocked. New suit. And the Red Bull ring. One of my worst racetracks. Okay, so to be consistent, you just got to pick those racing reference points, be aware of them, and get into that rhythm. Reference points also includes areas where you change gear. I was listening to a podcast the other day. Schumacher mapped out almost every meter of a racetrack, which I'm starting to do with the what do you call it? Track maps that I have designed. And it seems to be working quite well. So I'm watching my onboard videos from last year and then making notes. Okay, when I pass this building, I should be close-ish or closer to 6th gear, etc. Paul, I will be at Brands Hatch this year, mate. So please come along. I would love to meet you. Would love that. For those of you who are curious, on my Patreon page, I offer there is an offer or a tier which gives you pit passes. You're welcome to sign up to that, and I will organize you a grid ticket for the races that I'll be doing this year, all to be announced at some point in the near future. Thank you for sending through the friend requests. They're coming in thick and fast. Awesome. Oh, awesome. So the Emile Frey Jaguar's out. That's really cool. Awesome, man. 333 was the time that NJF's son was born. Yeah, 333 is the number of Ronaldo. We proposed changing it to 888 the other day, and Michele was not happy. So that didn't go down well. Turns out he really likes 333. And then he showed me he has 2 old Porsche cars, and both number plates have 333 in them. So I was like, oh damn. Well, I mean, I'm actually not opposed to the number 3. My favorite number used to be 38. So whether it's 333 or 888, it still reminds me of 38. My original username, which you can still find on GT Planet, is cart number 38. So I started my forum days with gt3times.com. Love that website. Spent way too much time in those forums. It inspired me to build my own leaderboards and forum software, which I developed from scratch. I didn't use any like PHP bulletin boards or anything like that. Programmed the whole thing from scratch. It was inspired by GD3 times, but for GD4 times. GDplayground.com. For some stupid reason I let that domain go. So frustrating, because now I could have so many uses for it. But after GD3 times closed down, and after I sort of forgot about GT Playground, I still stuck around GT Planet with the cart number 38 username. But now I choose David Perel for everything. I do actually own the David Perel username on PlayStation without an underscore. I just don't know which email address it belongs to. So that's frustrating, because I would like to just use David Perel without any spaces or anything like that. Thanks to all of you who are watching this late, by the way. Much appreciated. I'm really looking forward to posting as much content on the channel as I can this year. This is the first time on YouTube I've kind of found a constant source of things that I can do and share and talk about without limitations. You know, when I used to race in Blancpain, I would actually get in trouble posting onboards because they technically own the rights to that footage. And now there's a rule that if they catch you doing it, you get a financial punishment. And you sign a document at the beginning of the year, basically waiving your rights for any content that comes from your car. Whoa, you don't want to go that wide. So yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing more to you guys. And again, once I get this PC, my quality of editing will go up. I am capable of editing videos. I wonder what happened to all the A guys. Do you think everyone went to sleep? Highly possible. All the A's are asleep and all the C's are hanging on for dear life. Ethan Dean's recommending a full GT4 playthrough career mode. No ways. NJF, thanks so much for tuning in, man, and I hope to see you on the next one. Yeah, Ethan, if you're still around. Yes, Ethan is still around. The first thing I tell startup drivers or sort of guys who are still learning how to race on track is to look as far ahead as possible. Further ahead you look, the more your body sort of anticipates and is able to move or flow with the car and the track. It's like juggling. It's like if someone throws you a ball, don't look at your hand, look at the ball coming into your hand. If you throw a ball in the air, you always look up, and then your hand naturally moves to where the trajectory of the ball. So all those things make a difference, and it's super important to look as far ahead as possible. That's step one. Step two, then I say, okay, now we're going to talk about braking, racing lines, and then step three is like getting really strict with those reference points. So wherever we start to brake, they have to stick to that, and only when I'm happy with their progress can I say, okay, now we're going to move the braking point in turn 1 and turn 5 10 meters forward. So instead of braking at the beginning of the curb, I want you to brake at this marking on the curb. You see here, blah, 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 I've showed them on the onboard video. That's where I want you to brake in the next session. And then often what happens is they'll brake, instead of 10 meters later, they'll brake 30 meters later. They'll completely miss the corner. So they overcompensate because they haven't developed that, what do you call, finesse. So then we have to dial it back, go back to the normal braking point, and then slowly but surely work forward 10 meters until they stop overcompensating. But it's all based on reference points. And when you're in endurance racing and you're in the car for 2 hours, you really want to make sure that all that stuff is in your subconscious. So that's where, again, accurate simulators help if the developers got the curbing right. Curbing and track markings, and maybe even trees and OMCO barriers. If they get those things right, then it really helps us effectively install things into our subconscious in preparation for long races. Oh, that could be a penalty. In real life, if you drove over those curbs with a racing car in real life, you'd be going straight back to the pit lane and either getting out your checkbook or begging your team manager for forgiveness because the car will be so damaged. Where they get the curbs really right in Gran Turismo is the Tokyo Expressway outer loop, the new one with the new chicane of death at the end of the lap. The way when you hit those curbs, the way the car launches, that's how you should be launching when you hit the curbs here and at Monza. Monza Gran Turismo is way too forgiving. Okay, so this is all helping boost the driver ranking points. I can't say it's the most fun going around here, and I'm a bit worried about slowing down and racing against these guys because there's some kamikazes in there, and I don't feel like getting involved with the kamikazes tonight. At the moment, I'm just super stoked to see the South African flag next to my name. That has been a bit of a sticking point with some of the South African guys, and a lot of the South African Gran Turismo players don't even know I exist, even when I'm on a leaderboard, because all they see is a UK flag and they just tune it out. So it would be cool if I can establish myself as at least one of the quickest South Africans in this game. There are some really quick guys, by the way. But I do think I'm one of the quicker ones, and I have an ego. I'm not impervious to these things, and I want to prove myself. I want all the glory here, guys. Obviously. Just like, not in like a bad way, just to like, hey, you know, I do this too. You know, like I'm tempted to, for example, buy the 4C, grade 4, and attend some sub 36 laps here. But because I don't have the money, you know, in the game, maybe we should just do it for fun. I mean, yeah, but I don't know what the next week's races are going to be, so will I be stuck doing some of the built-in game races with the AI? I hope not. Oh, this is way too late. This is a combination of a little bit of tiredness and not concentrating. So let me actually, I'm going to go quiet for a lap. I want to see what I can do in my sort of groggy state. I can pretend that this is the midnight stint at Spa 24 hour or something. See how my body feels, my mind. Although I suppose at night time at Spa, you do tend to perk up quite a bit because it is so difficult. It takes so much concentration that whatever tiredness you had is long forgotten within the moment you turn off the pit speed limiter. I mean, just exiting that pit lane is not easy. Go up the hill next to Eau Rouge and then you're right next to a wall for a bit. Keeps it on the track. Too much speed. Eight-second lead though. These guys definitely think I'm cheating. 100%. Oh my god, look at that pack of cars from like 4th place down. Mental. It's just like one long snake of killer grade C drivers. Bad. Too eager on the power. If I was a bit more progressive on the power, I would have made it. had some pretty fun races yesterday against some of the aliens, and none of them could break 37s in the races, which I found interesting. Everyone was doing like 37.1, 37.2, averaging sort of 37.5s with the 4C. What was really interesting though was how I was able to, because I was always starting a bit further back intentionally, as explained in my Dirty David Peril video, and I was able always, even though if I'd start 10th, I could make it into the top 3, provided there was no big mistakes, because the guys in front seemed to fight so much that they bring themselves towards me, and I was just able to lap consistently enough to catch them, it was just an interesting thing. Okay, what is the time? Ladies and gentlemen, we're up to C now. We are making progress at a rate. Okay, I just want to read your comments. A lot of comments about living in Britain. I'm looking forward to officially living here in 2019. I'm going back to South Africa for the correct visa. Looking forward to that. Paul's talking about track days. Now having 2 younger boys, I don't really have time anymore. Yeah, not easy. Not that I have kids, but I've seen with my brother, you know, kids are the priority. Yeah, Kunos is doing a great job with the performance of the game. I think because they're still technically in a pre-release alpha phase, that you know, we are lucky to get access to this build to begin with. We're going to do this race one more time, and then I'm going to call time on the stream. Kilbasa aliens. The aliens are the super fast drivers in the game who are consistently finishing in the top 10 and are on the top 10 leaderboards. We refer to them as aliens, as in what they do on the racetrack is not human. I'm not one of those guys. I can get close to the aliens, but there is a point where they just, I don't know. I mean, I wish I had what they had. Let me put it that way, in terms of ability. Only reason I'm a racing driver, okay, I do acknowledge that I have a reasonable amount of pace, you know, but it's also that I just sort of found ways to get my way back into racing cars, and you know, I like to believe I did a decent job when I'm in a racing car, but I'm definitely no alien. Most of my speed has actually come in the last 2 years when I started using a simulator again, because I was able to work on things which don't necessarily come as naturally to me as they do to other racing drivers, and improve upon it enough that I was able to close the gap. Look at that sector time, 29.000. This morning around Tsukuba in the Toyota GT86 I managed to do the same lap time twice in a row, literally to the 1000th. Okay, so let's see how the qualifying gaps are in this next race, and depending how close it is, I'll slow down on the first lap, and we can try to do some overtaking against the hooligans. We're gonna risk it. Last race of the evening, so thanks again to everyone who has tuned in. Hopefully I can make the last one worth watching. Oh man, 3 away 2/10 there. That's irritating. This morning when I did the 37.0, I honestly was not even trying to do a best lap, and it sort of just came, and I don't even know. I didn't know why I was so fast on that lap and couldn't replicate it again. Haven't been able to get close since. Oh, holds the drift. Threw away some decent lap time there. 37.4 potential best. A little bit delirious on tiredness though. I was awake at 6 this morning. It's now after midnight. So I'm hanging on for dear life. I'm looking forward to waking up tomorrow to see if there's a new racetrack. But sadly I doubt it. But I hope there is one. But I doubt it. And I think there's going to be some cool classic racing cars that are coming in this next update. Not that that really interests me that much. I'm not a big classic car fan. I'm a classic Formula 1 fan, but not the super classics. More like the modern classics, like the 95 and 96 Williams cars, 97, 98 McLarens, the V10 Ferraris, basically anything from 1995 till 2008. I love those cars. I do not like the 2009 cars at all. By the way, I'm still a super addicted Formula 1 addict. I read autosport.com 500 times a day. Stuart, how are you doing? Good evening. Yeah, those DR meltdowns are a nightmare. Stuart, I will at the moment because there's no FIA racing. I don't have a real set schedule. But I'm trying to think what the most efficient way to announce some sort of 3-second gap to. What's the guy in second? I'm trying to look at ways to broadcast like when I create a lobby. Like I created a lobby the other day, I put it on Twitter, but no one came. So maybe if I put it on the YouTube community page, which you can view via your app or the YouTube app on your phone, or put it on my website. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can give me some suggestions where you think I should broadcast open lobbies. Cypher, I can't schedule the stream because the stream on PlayStation, it doesn't work that way. I stream directly from the PlayStation, and there's basically just a broadcast button. You can't actually set it up to, you know, to, what do you call it, schedule, which is a shame. It's a shame. Ethan, sleep is not for the weak, buddy. Sleep is for the strong and healthy and smart. But I only discovered this in my early 30s. In my early 20s, I was... look at that! P1, P2 and P3, same qualifying time. Okay, so we're going to drop to like P8-ish. And we're going to see what progress we can do before the checkered flag. I'm just worried about the effect on my SR, because I know that if I get caught in one of these boxing matches, it's very difficult to break out of it. Okay, so let's go. Let's move to the left here. Oh my gosh. What have I got myself into? This is insanity. Look at these two guys. Oh, it's anarchy. It's anarchy. Whoa, how did he not hit me? That was pixels away. Up to P6. This French guy over here. He's still learning. Seems that he's on a steering wheel though, not a remote. And he's definitely not aware of me being here. This is not an overtaking move. But he brakes so early that I'm able to sneak up the inside. Now we got Middle Lee, #1 in a Mitsubishi. Why are guys going for the Mitsubishi? Is it easy to drive or something? Chaos in front of us. No one knows what to do. Racing experience is minimal at the moment. Got the TT cutting across us. But David's going to go for a big move down the inside of a high-speed left-hander, hoping not to hit the Porsche in front of him. Is the Mitsubishi aware of me? Yes. Porsche running wide. Is he going to run into the grass and T-bone me? No, he just kills himself. Now we got Mr. Spain. Is that Spain? I'm not going to use the curbs here. As I said that I hit the curb in fear of penalty. Top speed advantage in the Ferrari easily puts me next to him. And then braking early as possible and avoiding the cutback opportunity by doing the block pass. We're on lap 2 now. This is like racing the AI on medium, I suppose. But ladies and gentlemen, we all have to start somewhere. 13-year-old Dave was definitely not as quick as 23-year-old Dave. And 23-year-old Dave may be quicker than 33-year-old Dave, but he was not as smart. He was an emotional, fragile mess. Okay, here we go. Is this guy from India? I can't tell. But we're catching him. No, he's not from India. Hungary? I don't know. I'm really bad with flags, even though I've designed a flag pack which you can buy on Creative Market. Just ridiculous. Okay, in his slipstream, TT has top speed advantage. I have the lap time advantage. He's playing with the remote, because you can see the inputs are not smooth and linear. And he's not entirely aware of the best line to take. Oh, it's Hungary, yeah? I don't know. Somebody just give me a damn lesson in flags. Worried about where to brake here. I'm gonna brake to the outside. This guy's overcompensated on his protective lines. I get the run. Not a good place to overtake, so I tap off and am intentionally gonna wait for the double left unless he makes a mistake between now and then. His lines are unrefined and he's gonna go wide. Yeah, let me just be patient here. He cuts the track. Because you know what he was doing, guys? He wasn't watching the track, he was watching his rearview mirror. So there we go, into the lead now. My commentary is flat because I'm tired. I'm looking forward to bedtime, guys. I'm ready for bed. Man, it's been a long day. I've probably done like 1,000 kilometers today of driving. Not really. I didn't do that many laps at Nick Foster's place. I mostly spent those kilometers in the wall at Bathurst and iRacing, trying to get used to his steering wheel. We got it in the end though. .28.8 per sector, not so bad. Those of you just tuned in, this is the last race of the evening, but if you're hungry for more David Perrell-ness, please check out my lap guide that I posted today, outlining how to drive a Ferrari around this legendary racetrack, Dragon Trail Gardens, in my very green Ferrari. Rinaldi Racing colours. I'm definitely going to change the rear of this livery though. I'm not a fan of this big black stripe. Wait for it. It doesn't do it for me. It's too thick. So definitely going to thin it out a bit. And I'm going to look at other cars for inspiration on how to make this livery better. Whoa, too hot in there. It's so important, guys, how you able to attack that chicane. That chicane is the key to lap time on this racetrack. It costs you up to half a second easy, as well as the quadruple right-hander coming up now. That can cost you about 3/10 between a good lap and an average lap. Okay, with a few more meters to go, I'm going to start saying sayonara. Thank you for tuning in. It's much appreciated. Late night, yeah. But this was a good evening of 1 hour of improving my driver ranking, and I appreciate you guys sticking around, especially this final race fight from the back of the grid. And I will catch you in the next video. Please watch my lap guide and the Dirty David Peril video. I want your opinions on that one. You've been awesome. You've left a lot of comments there, and it's been really cool to interact with you. But I need some sleep, and I'm gonna have to turn off now, get a little bit of rest, and depending on how things go tomorrow, maybe I'll tune in or create a video of the latest the latest download pack, the latest update from Gran Turismo. Let's hope that there's a new racetrack in there. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.